The Iron Cross is the most famous military award in history, but what exactly does it represent, and where did it come from? Although the Iron Cross has direct Germanic origins with it being established by the Kingdom of Prussia, we can trace its design all the way back to the Christian Knights of the Teutonic Order. The cross was created during the Napoleonic Wars by King Frederick William III of Prussia for distinguished service in the Prussian War of Liberation. He established the Iron Cross on March 17, 1813, but the award was backdated to March 10th, the birthday of his wife, Queen Louise, who was also the first person to be awarded the Iron Cross. The meaning of the Iron Cross has changed little throughout history, being a distinguished military award for those who showed exceptional valor on the battlefield, success in combat, and general military contribution. It could be awarded to officers, soldiers, and civilians, but all received the same medal. The medal was only a wartime medal, meaning it could only be issued during wartime and must be established during new wars, which is why there are so many re-establishments. The award was designed by Karl Friedrich Schnikel, being a Maltese cross based on the Teutonic Knights of the Third Crusades, a Catholic Germanic order that used large crosses on their uniforms. A design modification of the cross would come from Prince Karl von Mecklenburg-Strelitz, who suggested arcs to the arms. Frederick William required that the Prussian crown, his initials FW, the date of institution, and oak leaves, the sacred tree of Germany, be represented. At the top was the crown and the initials, while the leaves were in the middle and the date was at the bottom. First rewards were made out of cloth, but later iterations made them out of iron and silver, symbolizing sacrifice, honor, and war. A ribbon was also added, indicating whether the award was for combat or non-combat, with the black with white stripes indicating combat, while the white with black stripes was non-combat. The Iron Cross was established in 1813, but it was re-established in 1817, 1914, and eventually 1939. All Iron Crosses but the ones in 1939 had 3 grades: Iron Cross Second Class, Iron Cross First Class, and Grand Cross of the Iron Cross. From 1813 to 1815, 369 civilians were awarded the Iron Cross Second Class, while only 2 were awarded Iron Cross First Class. During that time, 5,928 enlisted men and 2,944 officers were also awarded the Iron Cross Second Class. Only 67 enlisted men and 568 officers were awarded the Iron Cross First Class. The established cross in 1870 could also be earned by allies of Prussia, with it eventually being turned into a German symbol not long after. A special Grand Cross on a radiant star was also created specifically for Field Marshal Blücher after he defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. This was only given out again to Field Marshal Paul von Hindenburg in 1918. During World War I, 1 out of 2 point soldiers were awarded the Iron Cross, including a certain Austrian painter. The cross during World War II was pretty different from before, with the general design staying the same, but no crown or initials. Instead, there was a swastika where the oak leaves were. The ribbons also changed, with them being red, white, and black, the colors of the German Empire's flag. More crosses were also created, with them being divided into 3 main series of decorations, being the Iron Cross, the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross, and the Grand Cross. These categories also had grades, with the Iron Cross continuing its second and first class grades. Around 4.5 million received a second class Iron Cross, and 300,000 received a first class in World War II. The King's Cross of the Iron Cross had 5 degrees, being the Knight's Cross with oak leaves, the Knight's Cross with oak leaves and swords, the Knight's Cross with oak leaf swords and diamonds, and finally the Knight's Cross with golden oak leaves, swords, and diamonds. Recipients of this cross would have to commit, quote, special combat decisive acts of bravery. 7,313 were awarded the Knight's Cross, with 883 receiving the oak leaves, 160 with the oak leaves and swords, 27 with the oak leaves, swords, and diamonds, and only 1 with the golden oak leaves, swords, and diamonds. The Grand Cross was reserved for general officers for, quote, the most outstanding strategic decisions affecting the course of the war. The only recipient was Reichsmarschall Hermann Göring after the Battle of Britain. Since civilians could no longer receive the Iron Cross in World War II, the Führer also made the War Merit Cross as a replacement. Additionally, those who received the cross in previous wars would have to be awarded new ones before advancing to the next tier of Iron Crosses. Unfortunately, many see the Iron Cross only as an emblem used by the National Socialist regime in Germany, without recognizing its historic Prussian and German military significance.